Normally I go through a whole spiel and tell you why we're doing this series that we're doing. And, our series for Lent is the no-show. And normally I tell you why we're doing that, but we don't have time for that today. We don't. If you notice the slide, it says our scripture text is chapter 23 of verses 1 through 43. And if we have any hope of getting out of here in time for you to go home and eat lunch, I have to be on the ball today. I have to be moving. So just understand that the main focus of the main theme of our entire series so far has been that God is good and that He always does good things in our lives. So as we get ready to jump into the text, I want to point out to you that what we're going to look at today in Luke 23, I don't think it's an accident we find ourselves looking at, because this picture, this is our world right now. We live in a world that is constantly in an uproar about something at the moment. Somebody is always upset about something someone else said or didn't say or didn't do or what they're trying to do and what they don't want to do. But whatever it is, we in our country right now, we are forming righteous mob after righteous mob. And if you study this passage at all, that's exactly what's going to happen to Jesus. This same crowd that was just welcoming Him into Jerusalem, saying, Hosanna, glory to the King of Kings, is going to turn Him over to be crucified. And every time, we're going to see every time that something tries to change that plan, they become a righteous mob and say, no, we want this. We have to have it this way. Boy, that's the world we live in right now. So that being said, I've got to find my clicker. We're going to jump in, and I'm telling you, be ready. We're going to move fast today, because if we go, you're going to be mad at me because you're going to be hungry. All right, here we go. Verse 1. This said, the whole assembly arose and led Jesus off to Pilate. And they began to accuse Him, saying, we have found this man subverting our nation. He opposes payment of taxes to Caesar and claims to be Christ, a king. And so Pilate asked Jesus, and the English does not do this sentence justice. You study this in the Greek. It's literally Pilate asked Jesus, he looks at Jesus and said, you are the king of the Jews? This guy? You're the king of the Jews. And Jesus responds, yes, it is as you say. And then Pilate announced to the chief priests in the crowd, I find no basis for a charge against this man. But they insisted. But he stirs up all the people all over Judea by his word. He started in Galilee, he has come all the way here. And on hearing this, Pilate asked if the man was a Galilean. And when he learned that Jesus was under Herod's jurisdiction, he sent him to Herod, who was also in Jerusalem at the time. So this assembly that brings Jesus before Pilate is the Sanhedrin. They are the Jewish ruling council. They are the top-notch religious leaders of the community. And they're bringing Jesus to Pilate, and they can't say he's a blasphemer. You know why they can't say he's a blasphemer? Because, let's be honest, Jesus is claiming to be God. But they can't say, you know what, because in Roman culture, blasphemy is not a crime. Remember, Romans, they were big into philosophy and debating and talking about things. They prided themselves on being open to discussion of things, like as long as you didn't talk bad about Caesar. That wasn't blasphemy. That was just, you're talking about Caesar. Bye. You know? But they couldn't they couldn't bring up that charge against Jesus. And what I find hysterical, it's not really hysterical, but I find tragic and kind of ironic. They bring Jesus to Pilate saying, this man is he's going around stirring up all kinds of problems. And he's claiming to be the king. And here's the thing. Jesus told him over and over again, I am not your political king. I am not coming here to restore the kingdom of Israel like it used to be. I am not that guy. It was the same crowd who was shouting all this nonsense about him that was trying to make him the king. As a matter of fact, there's time, you read it somewhere in Scripture, I can't remember where. But it said, and they came to Jesus and they were going to make him king by force. And Jesus withdrew from them because he knew. Yeah, Nicole says it's after the feeding of the 5,000. So if you want to know where that's at, you can talk to both of you. Okay, here we go. So Jesus knew he was not called to be their political king. He was called to be the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. And to stoop down to anything else was not the will of God for him. Of course, they bring him to Pilate, and Pilate has the power to set him free. And Pilate very quickly discerns that this is just a bunch of nonsense. But the crowd is so adamant. There's such a righteous mob that he just doesn't want to deal with it. And then he learns, oh wait, this man's a Galilean. I can send him to Herod. He can be Herod's problem. And Herod would deal with this for me. So that's what he does. See, I told you to move back. Verse 8. When Herod saw Jesus, he was greatly pleased, because for a long time he had been wanting to see him. From what he had heard about him, he hoped to see him perform some miracle. He plied him with many questions, but Jesus gave him no answer. The chief priests and the teachers of the law were standing there, vehemently accusing him. Then Herod and his soldiers ridiculed and mocked him. Dressing him in an elegant robe, they sent him back to Pilate. That day, Herod and Pilate became friends. Isn't that nice? Before this, they had been enemies. Some scholars believe that's why another reason why Pilate sent Jesus to Herod. One, he didn't have to deal with it. And two, well, if I let Herod take this case, maybe we can settle our differences. Because they didn't like each other. Because remember, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Pilate killed a bunch of Herod's subjects in the temple. And that wasn't cool. So the religious crowd, this righteous mob, they wanted Jesus' head. They wanted him gone. And they were not going to settle for anything less. And they were going to keep being a righteous mob and keep demanding over and over again until it happened. But when it comes to Herod, I think Herod could care less. He wasn't interested in that. He was excited because here's this Jesus he's been hearing about. This guy has been going all over doing all these miracles. And well, maybe if he's in my presence, I will get to see him do a magic trick. Maybe I'll get to see one. And I'll be the talk of the town. That's all he wanted Jesus to do. Yeah, as a matter of fact, Pilate sent Jesus to Herod, and Herod had the authorities that set Jesus free. But all he was interested in was seeing Jesus do a magic trick, and Jesus wanted no part of it. Notice he doesn't even say a word. One, he knows who Herod is. This is the same Herod that just killed his friend John the Baptist not that long ago. He knew who this guy was. He knew what he was about, and Jesus wasn't about to give him the satisfaction. And so, the crowd starts, because Herod hasn't killed Jesus yet, they start to rag his mouth. And we want him dead, we want him gone. And Herod, because Jesus isn't performing the way he wants to, says, he starts to mock him and ridicule him. And he gets his soldiers involved with it. And then they take a royal robe and they place it on him. And they send him back to Pilate. It's like a big joke. So back to Pilate we go. And so Pilate, he tries to push it off on Herod, and it doesn't work out. It comes right back to him. Isn't that how it goes, though? When you try and push something off somebody else, it always ends up back in your lap anyway. Right? And you don't have to deal with it. It's like, I should have just dealt with it the first time. Yeah, verse 13. Pilate called together the chief priests, the rulers, and the people, and said to them, "You brought me this man as one who is inciting the people to rebellion. Which, what I find ironic is they're the ones that are being crazy. I have examined him in your presence. And keep in mind, in this culture, Pilate was the judge and the jury. Jesus had no defense attorney. The prosecution was the angry mob. And Pilate listened to both sides and had to make a judgment call. And so he says, I have examined him in your presence and have found no basis for your charges. Neither has Herod, for he sent him back to us. So as you can see, he has done nothing to deserve death. Pilate sent Jesus away because he knew he was innocent. When Jesus comes back from Herod, he's more confirmed that Jesus is innocent. Jesus has done absolutely nothing wrong. That this is just a righteous mob wanting somebody's head for something that he could care less about. And he flat out says over here, Jesus is innocent. But what I find fascinating is what he says in verse 16. He says, therefore, I will punish him. He knows Jesus is innocent. He knows he's done nothing wrong. But because there's an angry, righteous mob on his doorstep saying, we want this man's head. We want him gone. We want him snuffed out. I will beat this man just to make you happy. And when I say beat this man, the Romans, you have to understand, they were experts. They knew how to torture you. They knew how to put just enough pain to bring you as close to death as they could without actually killing you. And that's what when it says Pilate was going to punish him, that's what he was going to do to a guy that he just declared was innocent. He had an opportunity to set Jesus free here, he doesn't. Verse 17, now Pilate was obliged to release a man to them at the feast. Now, if you have an NIV, the NIV has verse 17 down in the footnotes. But if you read it without it within the footnotes, it doesn't make any sense. So pull it out of the footnotes and read it. So now Pilate was obliged to release a man to them at the feast. With one voice they cried out, away with this man! Release Barabbas to us! Barabbas, this is the irony. Remember, they brought Jesus to Pilate saying, this man is stirring up a rebellion in the city. He's claiming to be a king. And Pilate has just declared Jesus innocent of all those charges. He finds no basis for them. I'm stuck in the pulpit. He found no basis. He declares Jesus innocent. Man, they bring out a typical traditional prisoner exchange. He brings out Barabbas. In verse 19, it tells us, who had been thrown into prison for insurrection in the city. So Jesus is innocent of starting all this, and they bring out a man who is actually guilty of the charges that they're accusing Jesus of. You see, Pilate's wanting to release Jesus, so he appeals to them again. But they kept shouting, crucify him! Crucify him! And for the third time, Pilate says to them, why? What crime has this man committed? I have found in him no grounds for the death penalty. Therefore, I will have him punished and then release him. But with loud shouts, they insistently demanded that he be crucified. And their shouts were so loud, so right in your face, so unavoidable, that their shouts prevailed. Pilate knows he's innocent. He had his friend Herod confirm it. Well, his new bestie confirmed it. He has the power to set Jesus free. But he gives in to the angry, righteous mob. And so 24 says, Pilate decided to grant their demand. Pilate released the man who had been thrown into prison for resurrection and a murder. the one they asked for, and surrendered Jesus to their will. The Jews, they wanted the very person that was guilty of stirring up rebellion in the city over the man who was innocent of it. That crowd, that angry, righteous mob, they weren't interested in showing mercy to Jesus. They weren't interested in showing him any pity. They only wanted one thing, and they only cared about one thing, and that was to see Jesus dead so they could go on about their religious lives the way it had always been. Without any distractions, without any disruptions, without anyone telling them that they were wrong and how to do their job. They wanted him gone. And they take him to Pilate. Pilate's the man that has the power. He has the power to with one word say, no, he's innocent, let him go. And he has time after time, the opportunity presents itself. Yet he doesn't take any pity on Jesus. He doesn't let him go. He wants to. He knows that in his heart it's the right thing to do. We read from the text that it's very clear that Pilate had a very good understanding of what justice was. He knew what right and wrong was. He knew what he needed to do. But he was too much of a coward to do it. And his cowardice caused him to have no pity or sympathy for Jesus. And even before he allows him to be crucified, he says, just to make you happy, I'm going to beat this innocent man. He had no pity whatsoever. And Luke doesn't say this by accident. Pilate doesn't surrender them to him. He surrenders Jesus to the will of the people. Almost trying to clear himself of any wrongdoing. Right? Like, well, this isn't my fault. You're the ones that want it. I'm just giving you what you want. But here's the thing. When you have power and responsibility, and you know somebody's doing something wrong, and you do absolutely nothing, you are just as guilty of the crime as the people who committed it. You have a responsibility to God and to your neighbor to stand up and do the right thing, to say the right thing, to take pity on them, whether you think that they're getting what they deserve or not. Jesus calls us to show compassion. Jesus demonstrated compassion to us over and over again. He doesn't find any. From the very system that was supposed to help him. Right, keep going. We gotta keep going. We get bogged down with this stuff. We get stuck. Move on. Verse 26. As they led Jesus away, they seized Simon from Cyrene, who was on his way in from the country. And they put Jesus on. They put the cross on him and made him carry it behind Jesus. Keep in mind, they just beat Jesus twice. And when I say they beat him, they cut him up. He has lost a lot of blood by this point. Some of us, we get paid when we cut our finger with paper, and we get a paper cut, right? We get paid to sit down. I'll be honest, when Ben busted his head open, I'm a combat medic, right? I'm trained to handle stuff. When my little boy's head was bleeding, I got a little woozy and I had to sit down. And what they did to Jesus was way worse. Matter of fact, if you watch the movie The Passion of the Christ, that movie stops short. I mean, keep in mind, the gospel tells us they beat Jesus beyond recognition. You didn't even know you couldn't even recognize him. And so Jesus is so weak and he's been beaten so much that he can't even carry his own cross. Keep in mind, the cross isn't this light little instrument like you have up here behind the screen. It is this big, heavy, over 100-pound instrument of death that he's carrying. And keep in mind, do you think the Romans disinfected that cross? Do you think they would have made a new one after they killed somebody? No, they just took the old one from the last guy and brought it down and gave it to a new person. And so you know things when they get gross and grimy and dirty, you know, they feel a little bit heavier because you don't want to get your hands on it because it's gross. And that's what Jesus did. Jesus, the weak state, could not carry this thing. And so poor Simon is just in the city for who knows why. And the Romans say, hey, you right there, pick it up. No, Simon's not doing this because he's taking pity on Jesus. He doesn't. He might feel bad on the inside, but he's not saying one word. And the only reason he gets involved is because the Roman soldier looks at him and says, you pick that cross up and you carry it for him. Doesn't take no pity on Jesus. Verse 27, a large number of people followed him, including women who mourned and wailed for him. I find this interesting. These women, as Jesus is going towards the hill, as his cross is being carried, they're sitting there, they're carrying on, they're crying, they're weeping. They're all upset about what's going on here. But when Jesus was on trial, they were invisible. They were at the trial watching it. They were present in the room. They probably heard Pilate say, this man is innocent. But they didn't say a word. They put on this big show and a cry of emotion and showing how distraught of the whole incident they were. But they couldn't. But when it actually came time to have an opportunity to stand up and do something, they kept their mouths shut because they were afraid. They took no pity on Jesus. Now it's possible that these were also professional mourners. Because oftentimes the Jewish funerals, they hired mourners to come in and mourn. It's possible. They might just be weeping and crying because that was their job. No, they're not there because they care about Jesus. They're there because, well, they care about Jesus, but they don't care enough to say something or to do something. And Jesus says this to them. He says, daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me. He's on his way to die. Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me. Weep for yourselves and for your children. For the time will come when you will say, blessed are the barren women, the wombs that never bore, and the breasts that never nursed. Then they will say to the mountains, please fall on us, and to the hills, please cover us up. And for if men do these things and the tree is green, what will happen when it's dry? And when Jesus says this, the green tree is a man who is innocent, that everybody knows is innocent. And Jesus is saying, if they will do this to me who is innocent, who's done absolutely nothing wrong, what do you think the Romans are going to do to you when you guys rebel against them? What do you think is going to happen? If this is man's behavior now, what do you think is going to happen then? And he is on his way to die on the hill of Calvary. Jesus stops and gives a warning. Don't weep for me, weep for yourselves. Verse 32. So we have Pilate showing no pity. We have Herod showing no pity. We have Simon and the weeping women. We have all these things. And then no one's yet so pity to Jesus. And here we are. Verse 32. The two other men, both criminals, were also led out with Jesus to be executed. One commentator put, it's fitting. Jesus was always accused of eating dinner with tax collectors and sinners. And here he is, he's going to die on them too. And when they came to the place called the Skull, there they crucified him along with the criminals, one on his right and the other on his left. And Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. And they divided up his clothes by casting lots. The people stood watching, and the rulers even sneered at him. They said, he saved others. Let him save himself, if he really is the Christ of God, the chosen one. The soldiers came up and they mocked him. They offered him wine vinegar and said, if you are the king of the Jews, save yourself. There's a red nose above him which read, this is the king of the Jews. And then one of the criminals who was going to death with him says, aren't you the Christ? Save yourself and us. So even on his way up, as he is in the process of dying, he doesn't find any pity from anyone. He finds insult after this. And what's really ironic about this is everything they say or saying about him is the complete truth. They're not saying it as truth, but they're saying is true. And they just don't realize it. They're so sure of themselves, so sure that Roman's going to keep it, that they're a Roman soldier, nothing bad's ever going to happen to him. They're so sure that their understanding of this Old Testament scriptures are correct, that they don't even consider the fact that they might be wrong. And so 3 different groups say, well, if you really are, you say save yourself. And what they didn't understand, what they didn't get was, to me, this is the voice of Satan calling out to Jesus all over again. Can you imagine you're dying on the cross, you're moments away from taking your last breath, and you hear these voices from the crowd, the very people you're dying to save, they're saying, save yourself. If you are who you say you are, you have the power to save yourself. And Jesus has the power. He has resurrection power. He could have saved himself. He could have called 10,000 angels to come and rescue him, and in a heartbeat they would have been there. And so it's like the voice of Satan calling out to him all over again. It's like a bunch of many little devils yelling, save yourself. They didn't even show pity. They didn't even show no pity on him. They just stabbed him with more wounds. He couldn't save himself. The man, I love the way Reuben Welch, the Nazarene commentator, puts it, the man for others, the man who lived his life serving others and to die for others, could not save himself, because if he did, God's promise would not be fulfilled. He had no other choice. If he wanted to please God. And all these people up to this point, there's not anybody who shows him any pity. Not anyone concerned about him. Not anyone who speaks any words of kindness. We have a man who has the power. We have 2 men who had the power to set him free with just one word, and neither of them take the opportunity to do it. Jesus finds himself in this moment alone on the cross. No friend, no ally, just him and the witness on the shoulders. But then verse 40. And as the one criminal is hurling out insults at Jesus, the other one speaks up. He says, a criminal speaks up. He says, don't you fear God? Since you and I are under the same sins, don't you fear God? Aren't you afraid? You see, we're here, we're being justly punished. We both know what we did. We know our deed. We knew the choices that we made were bringing us to this possibility, and we made them anyway. We brought ourselves to this moment of our own destruction. But this man here has done nothing wrong. And keep in mind, this criminal, he's not like Ben. He didn't just show up here on the hill. He probably marched with Jesus all the way up the hill. He could probably hear Jesus saying, Father, forgive him, as they drove the nails into his hands. He probably heard him turn to the woman and say, don't weep for me, weep for yourselves. And as he's hanging on that cross, this criminal who made a lot of bad life decisions and bad life choices, something clicked in his brain and in his heart. And he recognized that there was something really wrong about the picture he was in. He deserved to be there. And he knew it. He didn't argue it. I worked in a jail for a while, and everybody in that jail was innocent. But this man, he's on his cross getting ready to die and pay for his own sins. And he admitted it. I deserve to be here, not this guy. And so he turns to Jesus, and this is like a desperate plea from a broken man who has nowhere else to go, nothing else to say, no more words he can offer the world. The only thing that he has is he turns to Jesus and he says, Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Remember this broken, lowly criminal. I may not have done much in my life, but know that I saw you and I recognized and I took pity. Because I deserved to be here and you didn't. And the most beautiful thing that Jesus says is right here. He says, Jesus answered him, I tell you the truth. Today, not sometime far off, but today you will be with me in paradise. And what's really cool about that word paradise, it's the same word they used to describe the Garden of Eden. And what was so beautiful about it wasn't even but the Garden of Eden, it's described in Jesus as being absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. That it's a garden tended by God, created by Him. Can you only imagine? But what made that garden beautiful, what made it amazing, and beyond anything else, was when you were in that garden, you were in the presence of God Himself. You were with God in the garden. And so when Jesus turns to that room and He says, today, you will be with me in paradise, it's like, we are going back to the garden, buddy. I know you live a wicked life, but hey, you get it. You're probably the only one here, even though I told my disciples, even though I told my father exactly what was going to happen to you, this criminal, this broken man, you get it. So because you get it, you understand. You will be with me in paradise today. You see, Jesus was innocent through this whole thing. He was innocent. And the very humanity that He was dying to save took no pity on Him. But through it all, He took pity on us. He took pity on us. As the angry, righteous mob is staring Him in His face and yelling all these insults and stuff at Him, Jesus says, I love you. I love you. And he goes and He loves him enough to say, hey, don't weep for me, weep for yourself, because there's something else coming. He cared enough to say that. As they're nailing Him to the cross, and they're hoisting Him up, He says, Father, forgive them, they know not what they do. He's praying on our behalf. He's praying for the pagans that are there just making a mockery of the breath of life of God. They're mocking God's breath of life, and yet Jesus prays for them. The religious leaders, the very ones who are supposed to be following God and leading the others into following God, they have no interest in seeing God on the cross. And yet Jesus stops and He prays for them. Father, forgive them, they know not what they do. Pray over His accusers and executioners. And then on the last breath, as He's hanging on the cross, He turns to a lowly criminal with no other hope, with nothing else to turn to, with a few seconds of life remaining in His own body. He turns to Him and He says, you will be with me in paradise. He offers Him something better. He offers Him something different. He offers Him hope when there's absolutely no hope left. You see, we live in a world that's never going to offer us any pity. That's never going to feel sorry for us. That's never going to be willing to die for us. Because it's a world that doesn't love us. It doesn't matter whether you're a Christian or anything else. It's all the same in the end. We all look at each other and we hate each other. Because that's what sin has done. Sin has destroyed that bond of relationship, not only between us and God, but between each of us. It's why Adam and Eve had to go find clothes and put them on, because they were afraid to actually see each other for who they really were. They had to hide themselves. They had to put up a wall because they couldn't trust each other. Because when things got really tough, they turned on one another and tried to blame the other one to get the other one in trouble. And that's how we always have been. Ever since then. And when we felt threatened by God himself coming to us, that's how we reacted. We threw up. Just like they had the temple veil in the curtain of the temple, that big, thick veil that separated people from God, and only the priests could go in there. We put that curtain up ourselves in our own lives, in our own existence. Because we didn't want to be in his presence, because we didn't trust him, because we couldn't trust each other. And when he came to us, we were threatened, and we had to kill him, because if we didn't, we didn't know what else to do. Because we're so broken and utterly lost that without the help of Jesus Christ, without the Holy Spirit speaking to us, we never know that we need him. You need the Holy Spirit to tell you that you need Jesus. You need the Holy Spirit to bring you to that moment. But here's the beautiful thing. There is absolutely nothing, not one thing, there's nothing possible that can ever stop God from loving you and rescuing you from the situation you're in. There is nothing that can keep his blood from redeeming you. His blood has been shed and has atoned your sin and my sin once and for all of human history. From right now to the end of time, to the very beginning, Jesus' blood was shed to save us because he took pity on us and he loved us. And he wants to offer something different than the way we're living right now. And just like that broken criminal hanging next to him, we can turn and say, Jesus, remember me in your kingdom. And Jesus will say the same thing to us. He says the same thing to us. He says, today you will be with me in paradise. And that may not mean that you're going to die in the next 5 seconds and go right straight to heaven. That's not necessarily what it means. But when you accept Jesus in your life, when you come to that moment where you realize that he is all you need, the only thing that you need, the only thing that can save you, when you recognize that, his Spirit takes residence in your heart, and you live this life, not just the life on the other side of the river, but the life right here, right now. You live in his presence because his presence is inside of you. So where we at this morning, church? Maybe you came in here this morning broken and messed up and hurting. Maybe you've done something this week that you are so ashamed of and so broken over, and you think that there's no way that God can love me or forgive me. I'm here to tell you, friend, that Jesus loves you, and there's nothing that you can do that you won't forgive. But you have to be willing to let yourself down. You have to be willing to say, Jesus, remember me. All eyes closed and all head down. If you're here this morning and you want to accept Jesus into your life, if you want to live life in his presence in paradise, right here, right now, from now to the end of time, just raise your hand and say, Jason, that's what I want. I want the presence of Jesus in my life. Amen. 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 Anybody else here this morning? Don't leave here defeated. Don't leave here carrying the same feelings of brokenness. Know that you can leave here in the presence of Jesus and take it with you. So I'm asking one time, if you want Jesus to go with you in your life, just raise your hand. Amen. Amen. Let's pray together. God, thank you for truth in your word and how you never change. That you're the same yesterday, today, and forever. That you've always loved us. That you've always wanted to be a part of our lives. That you always wanted your presence to go with us. Well, that's why you created the garden the way you did, and why you came and you dwelt among us. But Lord, we're the ones that threw the walls up. Lord, even in our own personal lives, we do things and we say things and we throw up a wall between you and us. And Lord, help us to understand when we do that, we're just like all these people in the story, not taking any pity on you. Help us to realize that even when we're not taking any pity on you, when we're not thankful, when we take for granted the gift of grace that you have brought before us, that you still love us and you still forgive us. And you're ready to take us back into your arms if we're willing to humble ourselves and say, we need you. And Lord, your word promises over and over again. There are pages from Genesis to Revelation that tell us that when we pray that prayer, when we ask for your presence into our lives, when we ask for you to walk with us and go with us, your answer is always, yes, I will go. I will be there. I will be with you. I will love you. I will help you. Lord, you know the hands that were raised this morning saying they need your presence in their lives. They want to leave going out with you, going with you, God. And I pray, Lord, that would be true this morning. That they would experience your spirit in a real, abiding, and powerful way today. Lord, that they would leave this church service changed forever. Remembering this as the day where they met you and you completely turned their life around. It's the day that your journey living in paradise in your presence began. And may it be their own. Until that day comes where you return and you call us home, God. Until that time comes, may we live praising you, singing glory to you, and honor and worship you.